Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for the recap video of the first week of Vega's Invitational Battlegrounds tournament. In this first round of group play, we're going up against Clownius Clown, and I did start the video a little late, so just take a second to see the results of our draft before round one. This is a best out of 5 tournament, and there will be timestamps in the description if you want to check out individual fights. Additionally, he streamed it, so I will link his channel if you want to see it from his angle. So looking at my roster, everyone except for I-Bomb looks like they have dual use. I'm not super sure I-Bomb can take any of these defenders except for Magneto if he happens to place him. So that's why I did I-Bomb first and, force him to use some kind of poison immunity. And then he throws in Mephisto, so we've got a battle of the immunities here. I only had one fully incinerate immune champion, so I unfortunately had to waste my Havok here to just see what I could do against Mephisto. And then he's throwing in Hercules against I-Bomb because Hercules does have the resistance to poison, so he will take some damage, but it won't be the end of the world. And it is Hercules, so he'll probably get the fight done. Now this is going to be a really slow fight. I do want to get to, basically I want to throw a special 3 and hope that the special 3 gets him into his regen phase. So I ran into his special 1 there. It was a mistake, but actually what that does is it does get rid of one of his persistent charges, so the regen's a little bit less. But my goal is to use his aura of incinerate and occasionally block the energy attacks so that I can start building up some of the plasma debuffs on him. And then we're going to be using our heavies. The heavies give you a prowess, which is going to make the special 3 hit hard, and additionally it allows that damage over time, the feedback, which is essentially going to be doing damage over time based on how many of these plasma debuffs on him. So we're hoping that those can climb to around like 8 or 9, but at this point, he's definitely running Mystic Dispersion. And my hope is that this special 3 does enough damage that we can get him all the way into his second life, but unfortunately it's not quite enough. So now, and of course it does trigger the indestructible, so we don't get the benefit of the big red burst of damage. So now I'm pretty sure we're going to lose this match, just because I know I'm going up against Hercules and I have taken a little bit of damage, so I don't even have the benefit of like 100% health. So I throw the special 1, which is going to kind of supercharge my plasma buildups. And now we get the feedback debuff back on him. And I think we're going to trigger second life soon. And because of Despair Mastery, we're able to block the healing, which is nice. So we just do one more combo and just do as much damage as we can. And I mean, that was a pretty solid matchup. But going up against Hercules, there was no way. He did it so much faster, and we both ended around the same health. So I did play well, but, there's no way I was going to beat Hercules in that matchup. So down 1, if we want to get ahead, we need to win the next 2. And I'm looking at his, and I see that he doesn't have any mystics except for Dorm. And if I have to fight Dorm, I'm going to have to use Scorpion. He places Maw, so I'm thinking I'm going to use Doom versus Maw because this is a must-win round, if you know what I mean. So we need to beat Maw, and Doom is by far the best counter, especially in this meta for Ebony Maw. So we just need to not die, and I'm assuming Dormammu is going to be really slow against Cersei, even if he plays great. So we just need to be careful. We need to watch out for like the degen and things like that. The other thing with Maw, which I've learned from Alliance War, is that he can stop your potency of your power steals and stuff. So doing normal Doom cycles, you're not going to get as much power back as you think. So we're staying on top of our heavy attacks. I basically don't want him to throw any specials, so we're just kind of like reparrying and using Doom's tankiness to not take that much block damage. So there we go. We push him yellow. We steal it. Now, if we can just get some openings here, We get the heavy off because we don't want any falter business. And then we should be able to just heavy into the special 3 now. Okay, so it's really important to have your staggers up because he will get the indestructible from Bulwark after this. So we want to make sure that we can stagger that. This reminds me a lot of commentating on war videos, by the way. I really do enjoy Battlegrounds because of the strategy and everything. Alright, so we're in the middle of our Doom cycle. We need to land a heavy. He does medium, medium, and even though our block is up, he throws that special 2. We have a falter on us, so we have to be careful. Now we're kind of off to the races again. We can throw a heavy. We lost our Fury, which is fine. We should be able to finish this thing off with a special 1 into a special 2. And right here, we need to get a heavy off. We do again, so now he is not going to falter us. And let's see, we steal the power again. I just am trying to control his power, but I know I need to get to a special 2. And right here is where we mess up. It says approaching falter, and do we? I thought that I did get 1 degen proc in this thing. I don't here it is. So we just didn't notice that we got faltered there. So I was having an otherwise perfect match, but then we took the degen there, and we did time out. So I'm very nervous, but fortunately Cersei took care of business. And even if he had finished the fight, I do think that Doom would have probably won this matchup. But definitely Cersei came into play there. She's very annoying to fight with the glancing and with the you know, everything going on with her dodging of her unblockable specials and stuff, and probably caught Dormammu. So now I'm looking. I need to stop him, and Scorpion would be an interesting choice. I had to make a decision if I wanted to basically. I had Elsa for Thing. I had Kitty Pryde for Nick Fury, but I think Scorpion would have been steamrolled by his Magneto, so I was going for Kitty Pryde as a defender there, because I do think she's a little annoying to fight, and he didn't really have a good counter. He could have used Nick himself, or he chose Thing, and I just know that Thing is going to be really, really slow. Now, I have taken Nick Fury in an emergency with Elsa. You just need to basically fight Nick Fury as Nick Fury, so avoid the unblockable, push him to his special 2, know that your counter evades aren't going to work. You know, when I'm playing Elsa, I'm usually doing light ending combos to build Behemoth Busters. Right there, I have no idea what happened, but we did take some damage. However, he is degenning because of the bleed, and it wasn't one of those light attack bleeds, so it didn't do that much damage. So we're doing okay. We're going to block this. I just know that, you know, we need to worry a little bit about speed here. We're just blocking. I don't want to like intercept and lose the match that way. So mid combo we do our counter evade because he has under 5 tactical charges. I'm hoping this pushes him to second life, and of course it doesn't. So here we go, more block damage. And now we're going to be able to send him into his second life. Just let him tick away for a little bit. I'm thinking I'm probably going to lose because Thing is very tanky, and it looks like it's going to be very close whether I finish this fight or not. And I believe I make a huge mistake toward the end, because now it's looking pretty solid that I should be able to get him down, but he goes unblockable and I don't have a way to get an opening. So now I hit his block and I'm trying to intercept, and he's got the unblockable special 1 ready to go. So I'm really screwed, and I could have just tried to just let the time run out basically and let him stay at 2% health. That probably would have been smarter. But there I noticed that that Thing was still going. He had not finished. So fortunately, because we were able to kill Nick Fury, the points are weighted the most with getting them to 0% health. And even though we took that big combo at the end and almost scrubbed it, we ended up squeezing it out. So Elsa Bloodstone, this is going to be a common theme of this match, is that she absolutely saves me many, many times. So we win round 1. That was definitely a close one. Really well played by Clown. And we're moving on to round 2. So, you know, Galen is an automatic ban for me. And then I like to just sort of ban some attackers that I think will put him in the corner. And that's why I've been banning Omega Sentinel and Nimrod. So that if I place various mutants, he's going to have to use other options. And then Galen is just like absolutely broken for this meta. And then he's banning my Torch, but he's allowing me to keep my Archangel because he has Archangel in his deck, and I totally understand. Hulkling is a nuisance, and he banned Scorpion this time, which was different than the first time, I believe. So of those choices, I go Doom. There's his Archangel, and his Doom makes total sense. Now I'm thinking Elsa has done me right so far. So I first decide to do Killmonger, but then I'm thinking in my head here, I'm like, he's got Archangel. Archangel can really destroy Killmonger in this meta. I'm like, Mysterio. I usually like to pick a tech champion because for me, having a mutant counter is important, and a lot of the I don't have Nimrod and champs like that, so that's why I kept Mysterio. He's a really good dual threat champion. So he goes Man-Thing. So already I'm thinking, all right, Mysterio is poison immune. If he gives me Iron Man Infinity War, I'm a little screwed. So I'm already looking at this matchup like, oh boy, I'm running out of counters, and he's already got Doom and you know, freaking Archangel ready to go. So here I pick 2 mutant defenders essentially, because like I'm not seeing APOC doing anything on offense here. And Emma Frost is kind of annoying in this meta because you can't hit her block. So he goes Mephisto again. So now I'm thinking like, great, I don't really have a fully Incinerate immune. Havok didn't work that well the last time. So now I don't really have counters here. I'm thinking like, okay, Dragon Man has poison immunity, so maybe I'll pick him. So does Ultron, but he's not going to do any damage against Man-Thing. Nova could maybe take Iron Man Infinity War, but I'm like, you know what, Elsa will figure out a way to take Iron Man if we have to. But he's getting a very good draft this time, and you're going to see how it pans out. Not so well for me. So he goes Weapon X, and now I'm like, I don't really have a Weapon X counter. I have Mysterio who can heal block him, so that's probably what we're going to have to do. And I, again, have to pick first. So there's some pros and cons to that. I think you're at a disadvantage if you pick first, but at the same time, if you win the first round, then you're at a huge advantage going into round 2. So it's a little bit of risk reward. And I decided to go Doom because I'm not seeing Doom counter many of these champions. So he's going to be an annoying defender. And he goes Weapon X. And as I was predicting, have to use Mysterio there. And I do know how to fight Weapon X. I figure I'm probably going to lose this battle, and that at least he wastes his Archangel here, so that, you know, and then of course since it's Doom, anything can happen. So there is a small chance that we pull this out, but we just have to fight well against this Weapon X. So the way that I fight Weapon X is you want to bait a special 1 when he's, you know, somewhere between like 15 and 25 of the rage stacks. So now I need to bait this to send him into Berserk mode, and he does it. And now we just need to not get hit and bait the heavies. We get a really good heavy punish there. We're doing light enders so that we get the heal block. And now I'm like, dude, this is actually going really well. But we get clipped there. I was super early on the decks. He delayed a little bit, and he just like annihilated us. So I had the strat down, and then, you know, we just waited for him to finish Doom, and I knew this was an L. Like, that was just embarrassing. So yeah, you know, that's the problem with Weapon X. Even if you like know how to fight him, if he gets you once, you're dead. So unfortunately, we don't have an amazing clip of Mysterio versus Weapon X, but it's all good. It's all good, guys. So that was round 1, and we lost again. So now we're in a little bit of a hole, and I'm assuming he's going to play somebody that I'm just not going to be able to finish. And of course, it's Mephisto again. And, you know, I'm going to place Killmonger because I think maybe I can stall him, and he used his Archangel already. So, you know, as I expected, he goes Doom. Doom should be fine against Killmonger. It's just going to take a while. Apocalypse is going to take a while against Mephisto. I can eventually get Incinerate immune if I stand near him long enough. I also have the Concussion off of my special 2, but the big problem with Apocalypse in Battlegrounds is that he always starts with just one genetic code, so your damage is really not that good unless if you're fighting a mutant. So we're going to do some heavies, get the bleed procs going. So those are doing a decent amount of damage, and again, I don't really mind standing near him because we're building our Incinerate immunity, and I have the fresh fight of this guy from the last one, so you know it's not the worst start. I want to get off a concussion, but right there we got parried, so that definitely didn't help our cause. So yeah, this match I think I was the most nervous for, because we already had one W in the win column, and I think like I was just like, my hands were getting a little sticky. I was like, my heart rate was a little high because, you know, I got clipped by that Weapon X. I got parried in this fight because I was a little late. Just some little mechanical errors that essentially I needed to take a little breather, wash my hands, like just chill out a little bit before round 3. Because I'm pretty sure that Doom is going to take care of business here, and that this is a lost cause. I just can't do enough damage. I've got my, you know, I did weakness and I did concussion because he's poison immune, so I've got my 2 debuffs on. I want to get back to a special 2 so that I can get 3 debuffs, and that should actually do a decent amount of damage. It's just I have to actually get there. And, you know, he's got Mystic Dispersion, he's got Aura of Incineration, he's just got a lot going on. So we should be able to fire off a nice special 2 here with the degen. So this does a good amount of damage. It sends him into his regen phase, and we're able to block some of it with Despair. But, you know, there's no way we're getting him much below like 30% here. Good intercept. We get a little bit of damage at the end, which, you know, might have helped, but as we expected, Doom took care of business against that Killmonger, and this was a 1-2 punch. We lost big time here, and the series was evened out at 1-1. So at this point, it was like we're starting over, even ground. Somebody's got to get to 3 wins, and we'll see how we can do here. So, like I said, I took a little breather. I, you know, washed my hands, just kind of was like, make sure that I'm not sticking to the screen. And here we go, friendly matchup number 3. So Clown has 1, I have 1. It's 1-1. I'm sticking with my plan of banning Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, and Galen, because again, Galen just destroys just about any champion with like a heavy and a 1 special 1 basically, so we don't want to deal with that, especially with the armors. And he goes with the same 3 bans. You know, he has a lot of confidence in my Scorpion play. Scorpion is very good for this meta. For me, Scorpion, I'm not like amazing at Scorpion, but you know, he can definitely solve some problems, and I don't have a lot of other science champions. So I have Warlock. It's always good, like I said, to have like a really good tech champion, just in case there's an annoying mutant. Usually any of the techs that I have will work. I decided to stick with Cersei because she gave him troubles before, and then I went for Hood because you really do want like some kind of mystic, and you know, there's no guarantee that we're gonna get Doom, so I'm like, let's go with Hood. He's very good for this meta. But his draft is pretty awesome right now. He's got Mojo for defense. Magneto's always solid. Domino is an amazing dual threat. And then he did get his Archangel. That's another recurring theme, is he always gets Archangel. I don't think I got Archangel once in this whole match, but fortunately we have Man-Thing and we have Doom, so we've got a good dual threat, a good defender. And right here, I'm assuming we're going to see Kingpin because he needs a Man-Thing counter. And then, you know, Black Widow is an excellent attacker. He saw that I had Warlock, so he didn't pick his Bishop, but he did pick Mangog. And I'm looking, I don't have a Mangog counter except for Doom, but I also kind of need Doom for like Mojo, so I decided to go Elsa, because Elsa is can counter the large and extra large champs. And then I go Kitty again. Kitty doesn't really have an offensive use here, but she can be a defender. She's a rank 4. That's kind of why I decided to go that way. And I wonder if he picked Nebula here because he was going to use Nebula versus Kitty. I think that's actually a good strat. You can just kind of wait out and bait her special ones and then drop your shocks. All right, so once again, we have to go first. And I choose Man-Thing because Man-Thing is one of the only champs here that's not a dual threat. Like, he's clearly only here for defense. So I'm like, let's make him just deal with Man-Thing. And he goes Mangog. And I'm looking, and in my head, I'm like, I need speed here because he's probably going to pick Kingpin. So I see Nebula there, and I was like, ooh, Nebula versus Man-Thing is like one of my signature matchups from War. But he very wisely goes with Kingpin there for the shrugging and just the overpower and all that stuff. However, he does have to deal with Mystic Dispersion. So my hope is that he pushes the power, that he takes some poison damage. But this fight is probably the most important fight that we have. So we do medium, 4 lights. Notice how I'm not finishing combos because we don't want to feed his rage. We do light, beta special ones. Now we can do another, there we go. We do a combo, 4-hit combo into Incinerate. When we do our light ending combos, we get the bonus of fighting an extra large champion. When we do a medium ending, we give him some damage over time. So here we go. We bait this out. He's unstoppable. We can now intercept with a special. He's immune to Cold Snap and Incinerate now. So now the only way that we can do damage is off of our Behemoth Busters, essentially. Don't want to hit his block. We're going to have to bait a special 2, it looks like. And this is where the match almost ends. I almost instinctively dexed that thing, dude, but I dashed back just a little early. I was trying to get out of the way, and he threw it, and I was able to get my block off just in time. But here we go. We get that big special 2, which gets the benefits of the extra large champions. And now I'm thinking one more combo, and he goes down. And this match, take a look at this score. Take a look at this score. We finished just early, and we had close to the same amount of health. And Elsa clutched this thing out by 11 points. So this was probably the most shocking moment for me, but I'm really happy with my strategy. Again, when we started, we did that medium, and then we did 4 lights. Like, we were trying not to end our combos. We got the special intercept. We didn't get fooled by the special 2. We got our big special 2 off. So, you know, that was about as good as that could go using Elsa Bloodstone. Against large and extra large champions, she is just an absolute beast, especially since she's rank 4. And now I almost placed Doom, but then I was thinking RNG wise, Cersei can mess with Archangel more than Doom can mess with Archangel. And then also I needed someone for Mojo, and you know, my strategy for Mojo was either going to be use the hood and try to just like nuke him. But the problem is, if the prompts go poorly for Hood, then, you know, I might not be able to stun him. I might not be able to heavy attack him, things like that. Whereas Doom, I think, can lose a couple of the prompts and just, you know, Doom cycle. And plus, he's got more health to play with. So right off the bat, we got blocked hit, so we do take that first. We're trying not to proc any buffs, because when we do proc a buff, like right there, we will degen. So the degen's not that bad yet, but we've already fulfilled 2 prompts, so we need to worry about his power gain. We need to worry about this next prompt. So the next prompt is end a buff, so we have to be careful not to dex. And then we get our Doom cycle off. Of course, because it is Mojo, we have to deal with this animation, and also the spacing is a little different at the end, so that's like a little hidden buff to Mojo, I guess. So as you can see, we're like really far away from him, but at this point we can do like a proper Doom cycle, just hope for the best that this kills him or comes very close to killing him. He's very close to fulfilling his 5th prompt, so we're just like, please die, use a special attack. We don't have to, we just throw a heavy. And yeah, it looks like Cersei got some good glancing RNG because, you know, Archangel probably took a hit, and 47 seconds is actually pretty slow for Archangel, so she must have gotten her glancing up, and she did her job. And Doom reigned supreme there. We had a pretty solid Mojo fight. We only took a little bit of degen, and we just sort of like decided to do Dr. Doom cycles and stuff and not worry too much about the prompts, and we ended up squeezing out that victory. So Elsa Bloodstone, for the 2nd time in a row, has saved our butt, and we just have to win one more now. So this is match number 4. And we're both going with the same strats there for the bands. And, you know, Nova, I think he has Doom, so Nova's not much of a threat. I'm like, you know what, let's stick with Elsa because she has been doing well for us. Let's just keep going. He already gets 2 lethal defenders there with Domino and Sasquatch. I really don't want to deal with either of them, so I'm giving him Domino back. And I am going to pick I-Bomb for a potential Sasquatch counter and defender. Now he gets Doom and Weapon X again, so I'm wondering if I'm going to get redemption on Weapon X. I still need, well, I have I-Bomb to counter Doom. I don't really have someone for Weapon X, so that's why I went APOC, because facing a mutant and having the debuffs and stuff, I think he's a decent counter. And we go Kitty Pryde because I know he doesn't have Omega Sentinel and Nimrod, so that he should be able to not have a great counter for Kitty. So here he knows that Mangog got owned by Elsa, so he doesn't pick Mangog. I think he goes Nebula again for the potential matchup against Kitty, and he went I-Bomb for, he went Kingpin for the I-Bomb matchup. So now I'm looking, I think I need Ultron if he places Weapon X. So that's what I'm thinking. And then, you know, Doom is always a good shout. He's decent against, like, right here, if he goes Nick or Apocalypse or something, Doom can take both of them. Kitty Pryde can also take Nick. And he's probably seeing that I have Domino and Kitty Pryde, who are decent Nick counters, so he goes that way. With his APOC. And for I think the 4th time in a row, I have to pick first, so that was interesting RNG, but it ends up working in our favor. Spoilers ahead. So I decide to go Domino first because he doesn't really have a great Domino counter. He's probably going to have to pick Apocalypse, and then he gives me Sasquatch, and I was originally thinking Doom. But then I was looking at the other champs, and I was like, I think Elsa's best matchup here is Sasquatch, because Kingpin's going to be shrugging all her debuffs. Sasquatch is extra large. That's going to come into play here. She's able to deal with Wrath by having the free openings. She's able to block healing with Despair. There's just a lot going on against Sasquatch, and we can actually finish our combos as opposed to the Mangog fight. So we're going to see the proper Elsa rotation here, which goes like this. Light ending combo, light ending combo, light ending combo into special 1. So now we have 4 Behemoth Busters, we have a Precision, we have 2 Incinerates. Good start. We're going to bait the special 1. We're going to do another Behemoth Buster. Now we're going to get rid of all our Behemoth Buster rounds. We're going to do Incinerates all the way up to our special 2 so that we can throw the special 2 when we are fully charged up. He goes into Wrath, and going into Wrath helps us immensely because he doesn't have any rage stacks, which means that his his damage mitigation is gone, because that's based on the amount of rage stacks that he has. So we get off the huge special 2, So much damage, man. I mean, Elsa is so underrated, I can't even tell you, man. Against Sasquatch, we didn't really proc Mystic Dispersion that much. And Domino probably just did Domino things to APOC there. One of the things that you have to watch out for is if she goes Lucky and you're running Limber, then the stun duration is too short to do anything. And that's probably the easiest way to die to Domino or to miss a Dex. So, you know, that's why Domino's there. That can happen to anybody. And now I'm looking, I'm like, if I can redeem myself on Weapon X, then hopefully Doom can stall whoever he's going to use. Against Doom, he didn't really have a great counter, so he's going Domino, hoping that he can get some lucky bleed procs and stuff. And I was about 90% sure I wanted to use Apocalypse for this fight until I remembered that having bleed immunity can actually save you. Like, if you accidentally get clipped, then you won't die if you have bleed immune here. So I went for Ultron, who's sort of like a makeshift Nimrod, because he's a pretty good mutant counter. We're going to get the degens. We don't really have a way to deal with this healing, though. So I'm not super concerned about a good Ultron rotation here. We're just kind of fighting Weapon X, hoping that we can get some big degens. Right there, he walked up to us and threw a light, so now we're in trouble. So we're in the corner. We're going to have to bank. We do a bank, and we get out of trouble. He throws a special. So that was our first little issue there. He's immune to stun, so that didn't do anything. But yeah, I'm really proud of that save, because that would have been the whole match right there. But we had some really good play at the wall. I'm trying to bait his heavies. There we go with, we just retaliate there. We need to do another bank, or actually then I realized we can parry. So we heavy over all those degens, which is great. Alright, so now we're making a little bit of progress. Right there, I don't catch that he's unstoppable. So that was a big error. But fortunately, because we're bleed immune, that really helps. So now we have this big Fury up, and if I can land a heavy attack, that would be great, but unfortunately he goes back unblockable. And, you know, normally when you hold your block and dash back, he's really eager to throw his heavies like that. Right there, we missed another heavy punish, man. So I'm thinking that we're a little screwed here, because we played well, but we've also made mistakes. But my regen kicks in, and the regen kicking in is huge because it puts us at like a decent finishing health, even though we made a couple mistakes. So right there, we were able to cauterize. We triggered the indestructible. He's out of his berserk phase, so I'm thinking that we can either finish this or come close to finishing it. And here, I just let him tick away a little bit and let the time run out and just pray that it was enough. And fortunately, it was enough. So he was able to get Doom down, which is pretty impressive. It means that he got some big bleeds, but he did take some damage, probably just block damage mostly. And that is enough to secure the match. So we end up winning 3-1. GG's for Clown. Great guy. Really have enjoyed playing with Clown before. We were in SSX1 together for a while. So yeah, congratulations, man, for a well-played match. I hope to see you soon in another match in the future, and that's going to do it for today. So thanks for checking out the video, everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one.